Dominique in Chicago, hi. Going once, going twice, Dominique is gone. When you were 7 years old, your mom took you to see a double bill that included The Wild Bunch and Deliverance. Yeah. Two tough pictures for a 7-year-old to see, but as you would say later, you understood immediately that you could separate reality from the movie, that this on the screen was the movie, and the reality was not that. Why do so many people these days have difficulty recognizing the fact that what they see on the screen is fantasy and fiction and is not real life? That leads them to condemn the artistic works of people such as yourself and others who make movies that have what is called violence in them.
Well, it's funny. I mean, the thing is, this is not new. I mean, again, this is no way to compare myself, but Shakespeare put up with the same thing in his day. In fact, all art forms have put up with it, where if that's part of the color of your palette, and it's one of the easiest things to say from the from the 17th century and the 16th century. If if there's problems in this city and problems in society, blame the playmakers. They're the ones.
Well, they've been doing it in motion pictures from day one. You know, Birth of a Nation did not have an easy ride when it was made many, many years ago by D.W. Griffith. But why is it that people have this difficulty separating fiction from reality?
Well, in a weird way.
I mean, when I was a kid, and I'm sure you said this to your mom when you were growing up, hey, it's only a movie.
Exactly. I mean,
it's a movie.
Yeah, that's how my mom felt about it. She didn't feel that there was anything in a movie I was going to see that was going to
corrupt you for the rest of your life.
Exactly. Now, she didn't want me to see porno movies, obviously, because that's a different thing. That's just something children shouldn't see.
Right.
Children should have their whatever innocence or whatever as far as stuff like that's concerned.
Of course.
But but a story is a story. But I'll give you an example of a movie my mom wouldn't let me see, and why she wouldn't. It was actually a blaxploitation movie called Belinda.
Belinda, yeah.
With Calvin Lockhart. And the thing about it was, she had said she'd seen it on a date. My mom was single, and she had seen it on a date, and I'd seen the trailer on Soul Train or something. I want to see that too. She goes, no, I won't let you see it. I go, how come? She goes, because you wouldn't understand the story, Quentin, and it's a very violent movie. And if you wouldn't understand the story, all you'd be seeing is violence, and I don't want you to see that. If I had been old enough to understand the story, that wouldn't have been a problem. Now, that's actually kind of says it all in a weird way.
Yeah, exactly. If your child doesn't understand the story, don't take the child to the picture. Never mind the ancillaries that appear on the screen, but make sure that the individual, that the kid understands the story
following the film
before you take the child to see the picture. Yeah.
But I also had to put up all the time with, and it's just a common thing. It's a common thing, and it's all throughout the world. Parents treat their children as if they have less intelligence than they do. They don't give their children enough credit for having intelligence. All through, when I was working at a video store, I would recommend films that I knew the kids would like. And I would always tell the parents, maybe, like, if there was something, I mean, obviously never recommend, Deliverance to a, the show to little Jimmy, but unless you knew the people really well. I'd show my kids Deliverance. But the thing is, though, it might be not necessarily a children's film, but they would really like it, all right? And then, and just the parents would just assume that their kids couldn't understand it. And sometimes the stuff that they thought was like naughty that they wouldn't see, that will go right over the kid's head. They're not going to get that at all.
Of course.
What they're going to see is Steve Martin doing this and that and the other. And it's just it's a common thing I mean, there's nothing a child loves more than an adult talking to them head on.
And not talking baby talk to them, and not talking down to them, but talking straight talk to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? Old people feel the same way, and it's the same kind of thing. I mean, when you're talking to really elderly people and everything that are like, getting along, they beg for you to look them in the eye and listen to what they have to say.
And give them the respect
that
they had when they were younger. Here's Mike now on the toll-free in Pittsburgh, PA. Hi, Mike. It's Tom. Welcome to CBS.
Hi, Tom.
How are you, Mike?
Pretty good. How are you
Listen,
doing?
we got a big thing this Sunday now, huh?
Yes?
Mike, we have a big thing this Sunday, right?
Yeah, the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, right, Mike, right.
We're going to win.
Well, good luck, kid. Say hi to Mr. Tarantino. He's right here.
Hello, Mr. Tarantino.
Hi, Mike.
Yes, I wanted to ask, what was in the suitcase?
Most asked question, well, who shot Nice Guy Eddie was the big question before, and now it's what's in the briefcase. The answer to that question, Mike, is, and this is not a cop-out answer, it's whatever you think is in the briefcase. Because, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to know. I wanted you to tell me. And whatever you say is correct. I kind of like the idea that I answer a lot of questions in my movies. However, there's some questions I want you to answer. That way, everyone who sees the movie kind of has their own little movie in their head. And if I were to, say, well, it's this, and you were thinking that, then you'll listen to me. You go, oh, okay, well, see, I thought it was this. And you would let go of your thought. And I want you to hold on to your thought. So that's why.
Hey, thank you.
Well, Mike.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Mike, what's in the suitcase?
What's in the suitcase?
Yeah.
Evil. I don't know.
No, Mike, what does Reservoir Dogs mean?
What does Reservoir Dogs mean? I don't know.
That's another big question. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah. Mike, I'm glad you called. Good luck to your team on Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thanks, Mike.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
When you quit school, as you say, in the 10th grade, your mom said, that's okay as long as you get a job.
Right.
You mentioned that you worked in a video store for a time. You were also an usher in a movie theater.
Yeah,
The Pussycat Theater.
Yes, very much so. Pussycat Theater in downtown Torrance, like the last rung of the Pussycat chain.
Yeah, well, the big one was the one I used to go to all the time.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I used to have your membership card there. Right.
On Santa Monica Boulevard, yeah. Right.
Well, it was like irony of ironies, because I've never really liked porno films, but that was the one. All through when I was a child, oh, man, to me, forget being a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Forget being an actor.
Yeah.
The greatest job you could ever have would be to usher. To be an usher, because like you never, you get to see the movies for free.
Sure.
How wonderful. Well, I finally get a job at 16. Again, not even old enough to work there. I just BS my way into it, and I got it. And a theater that I didn't like to watch the movies, but but actually it was like my first real job, where I had to show up.
Now, as an usher, what would be your job in that kind of a movie theater?
Well, it's pretty much.
I mean, you didn't lead people to their seats, say,
No.
two on aisle 16 or something like that.
No. Your main job is stealing from the register. No. No, don't go through the turn. Right this way, sir. Right this way. Okay. The ticket machine's not working right now. No, what happened was, it's like the same thing. I was just like running the candy counter.
Oh, okay. The
but
popcorn machine, that sort of thing.
The only special thing is when you're taking a tour of the theater, you're looking for guys doing things by themselves that they shouldn't be doing in public.
The Pee Wee Hermans.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I never found it. I never found one, actually. The only really exciting thing that ever happened to me, and it happened to me my first week. Now, I'm like 16 years old. I'm a kid saying I'm an adult.
Yeah, but you're a savvy kid. You're a kid that gets it, okay?
Yeah.
You're a kid that understands what's going on.
But I still didn't really have that much actual contact with women, all right?
I understand. Okay.
I knew it all in theory, all right, but no actual practice. And what happened was, that happened the first week. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is gonna be a great job. I'm sitting there, and you close the register, for the candy counter, so you can't sell anything else. And this guy and this woman come up. She's wearing like a kind of a white trash chick, and she's got like a demi vest. They were kind of big back then.
Yes.
And she goes, hey, can I have a Crunch Bar? And that's a Crunch Bar. And I go, I'm sorry, ma'am, we closed. He goes, oh, come on, just a Crunch Bar, please, come on. I go, no, ma'am, I'm sorry, I can't. I closed, and actually I would have done it later, but I didn't know what I was doing. And she goes, she unbuttoned her thing and then like whipped it out. All right, I said, now can I have the Crunch Bar?
And you said,
and I said, here. I was like, want me to cook a couple of hot dogs for you while you're at it? Having the first week, so I'm thinking, hey, this job's all right by me. This don't happen at the Chinese theater.
We are with Quentin Tarantino. The picture is called From Dusk Till Dawn. It's in the theaters now. The toll-free is still up and running. Hope you're next on the line after these messages. Here's Chris on the toll-free in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Hello there.
Hey, Tom. Hey,
Hi.
Quentin.
Hi, Chris.
Hello. My question is, well, first of all, Tom, you got a great show. And
Thanks.
Jumping the gun.
Thank you.
My question is to Quentin is about, I know that you have a lot of board games.
Mm-hmm.
How many board games do you have, and who do you play them with? And do you and Ron Howard have a director's duel and play Happy Days or what?
No, what happens is, I don't know how many board games I have right now because I haven't counted them. They need to be organized right now. They're kind of all over the house. I collect board games. For people who don't know what he's talking about, what Chris is talking about is I collect board games that have to do with movies and TV shows. I just like collecting collectible stuff, culture stuff of my culture.
We all do, yeah.
And it's like, there's like lunch pails out there you can collect and, dolls and stuff, but they're so expensive. And I like the idea of collecting board games because they can function. You can actually play and have a good time. And I think I probably have now about maybe 50 or 60 board games. Unfortunately, I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to play them that often with anybody, but I do play them a lot. I play them with Robert Rodriguez a lot.
Could you give us some idea of the titles of these board games?
Oh, yeah, well, it's like, well, they're all based on movies or TV shows, so
Okay.
it's like, you know, one of the rarest I have, because they didn't make that many of them, is George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. There's a board game to that.
Okay.
I got that. Okay, I mean, Dukes of Hazzard board game, which is actually a fun board game. It's about as close as you're ever going to get to actually getting into car chases, doing that game. There's the Alien game. I have the Patty Duke game, the I Dream of Jeannie
Wow.
game.
No kidding.
All the way back to, I have some old ones, like the Andy Cantor Tell It to the Judge game.
That's going back, kid.
Yeah, it's definitely an old one.
Now, would this include games that are based upon like game shows? Like there's the Wheel of Fortune game, and there was the old, what was the one?
Yeah, it was like and a lovely copy of our home game while you're at it.
Yeah, exactly. But like, what was the one that Bud Collier used to do? You remember Beat the Clock?
Oh,
They
Beat
had
the
a,
Clock,
they had a. I remember we had this as kids, the Beat the Clock home game, where you'd set the clock and then you'd have to do some stupid trick, and my
Right,
brother and I would
exactly.
play it and make our parents nuts. Would that qualify for what yours is?
Yeah,
more-
no, that was because it's a whole different thing. All right, 'Cause
I got
those
you.
were tied in with that show to be specifically that. I've always liked the games where they like trying to work it into the movie. That's why, like, when I said, like, there was a remark about the Dukes of Hazzard game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, you know, I mean, they try to recreate the show. The wildest game I have, as far as like just from like a weird standpoint, there's a Mr. T game. Okay. Now, the Mr. T game, what the object of this game, somebody at Milton Bradley must have been really busting a gut when they came up with this one. Because what would you think the Mr. T game would be about, all right? What it is you're not Mr. T. You are part of Mr. T's entourage. And Mr. T is going to leave, he's got like something to do, and you're going to leave on a plane in the next hour. You have to run his errands for him. And whoever finishes those errands in a certain amount of time wins. Because he's off on a plane.
Yeah, he's gone.
You know, you don't finish his errands. I'm off. You're gone, man. I'm finding somebody else. I'm putting the food. Don't finish my errand. But now the list of the errands are in particularly great. Return his library books.
You're
Pick up
right.
his dry cleaning.
Mr. T was always a great reader,
He
wasn't
was
he?
a great
Yeah.
reader, you know. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Chris, a great question. Thank you for calling and thanks for watching.
I love your movies. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Chris.
thanks. Now, is there a Quentin Tarantino? Is there a Pulp Fiction board game?
You know what? Okay,
I
officially,
mean,
no.
if you collect them, you should
Yeah,
create them.
Exactly. No, I want to. From here on in, I think I probably will. But there is a Pulp Fiction board game because a couple of cool guys, I'm probably going to screw up where they're from. They're either from Delaware or Rhode Island, one of the two, I think.
If people buy $20 million worth of their game tomorrow, they won't care where you said they're from.
Oh, no, it's like, no, they made one game
Oh, one.
for me.
Oh, okay. And
They
then-
made one game for me, and they sent it to me, and it was so cool. Me and
Yeah.
like 6 of my friends got together and played, and they really knew the movie. And it's like, you know, and you're chasing around the board, and you're trying to bring Mia back to life, you know, the Uma Thurman character.
Yeah.
And you have different cards. You have the GIMP cards, right, which kind of screw you up, all right? And you have the Wolf Says cards, which is Harvey Keitel's character.
Yep, okay.
You know, and they ask you different questions, and then I started adding on to it. I started like making adding on other questions to the game, you know, and stuff. So we had a blast
That's fun.
playing
That's
it.
fun. Mike in Montreal,
guys.
Quebec. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Tom,
Good.
Quentin.
Okay, hi, Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
Very well. Tom, first of all, let me thank you for giving intelligent TV to us insomniacs.
You're welcome. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting us, my friend.
And no problem. And Quentin,
Yes.
my question to you is, when you were working at that video store and you had all these great script ideas in your head, did you have any idea realistically that you would become the toast of the town, the king of Hollywood, the Palme d'Or de Cannes?
Well, aside from the Palme d'Or de Cannes, none of those other things were necessarily my ambition. All right, I wanted to be able to make a movie, not necessarily be the toast of the town or Joe Hollywood. But I did want to win the Palme d'Or someday. Yeah, my feeling is actually, it's funny, me and Tom were just talking about this before the commercial came back, before the commercial was over, was I think if you're going to do anything, you have to feel that way. You know, or else you're just kind of throwing your life away,
You
all
have
right,
to
on
want it
a
badly.
pipe dream. You have to really want it, and it has to be serious consideration. I mean, I never had a fallback plan because I didn't want to fall back. I wanted to just, like Pac-Man, just keep going forward and have to because I had no choice.
What the hell
Hitting
ever
for the
happened?
home run.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Thanks for calling, Mike.
No problem, Tom. Thank
Good.
you.
All right, have a good weekend. What
You
happened
too.
to Pac-Man? Remember, it was in every bar in America?
Yeah, it's, Miss Pac-Man is still in the bars. Yeah.
Before I go to the break, and by the way, I really appreciate your coming here tonight, and I say this to you. We need people like you to come on television more often, even if you don't have a movie to plug, so that we can find out what you're all about. And I hope that you'll come here sometime, even if there isn't a movie to plug.
I would be happy to.
If a director named Frank Capra came to Hollywood today and started making the kinds of movies he made, would they or could they be commercially successful in this time, based upon what we've now seen in movies?
Right. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, I think so, because I mean, I think
I hope-
Babe proves it.
yeah.
I mean, in some ways, I mean, it's funny because, you know, my movies have like you know, rough stuff in
Right,
it.
you're a non-traditional filmmaker,
But
but I
people-
don't want the Babes and the Capra pictures to go away.
No, I don't. But I don't think they're in any danger of going away. Because I mean, at the end of the day, the Hollywood studios and stuff, what they would love to do is make a lot of money with a with a It's a Wonderful Life, which I mean, in its own way, Babe is reaching the same audience. It's making people walk out and feel good. If anything, our problem has been that after Rocky, basically, Hollywood changed in 1976 when Rocky went through the roof. Because part of the thing about Rocky was it was the first time we had seen a happy ending in a long time.
I'm going to stop you right there because I have a man waiting. But when you come back here, and please come back here, I want to start at 1976 in Rocky, and that's when Hollywood began to change. I think that's a signal point, a benchmark in motion picture history.
Yes, it is.
And if you do us the favor of coming in the not-too-distant future, I'd like to start there.
Let's do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
My
much.
great pleasure. Mr. Quentin Tarantino, director and actor, his picture called From Dusk Till Dawn, back with Brian Sipe of the Cleveland Browns after these messages.